Underground in an undisclosed location, this is Tread Comics presents Battlestar Galactica 1978. Battlestar Galactica is an American science fiction television series created by Glen A. Larson that began the Battlestar Galactica franchise. Starring Lorne Greene, Richard Hatch, and Dirk Benedict, it follows the surviving humans as they flee in Battlestar Galactica and other ships in search of a new home while being pursued by the Cylons. The series ran for the 1978-1979 season before being canceled. In 1980, a writing campaign revived the show as Galactica 1980 with 10 episodes. Books have also been written continuing the stories. Battlestar Galactica was also rebooted in the early 2000s with a reimagined miniseries and weekly TV series. In a distant star system, the 12 colonies of mankind were reaching the end of a 1,000-year war with the Cylons, warrior robots created by a reptilian race which expired long ago, presumably destroyed by their own creations. Humanity was ultimately defeated in a sneak attack on their homeworlds by the Cylons, carried out by the help of a human traitor, Count Baltar. Protected by the last surviving capital warship, a Battlestar named Galactica, the survivors fled in available ships. The commander of the Galactica, Admana, led this ragtag fugitive fleet of 220 ships in search of a new home. They began a quest to find the long-lost 13th tribe of humanity that had settled on a legendary planet called Earth. However, the Cylons pursued them relentlessly across the galaxy. The era in which this exodus took place is never clearly stated in the series itself. At the start of the series, it is mentioned as being, quote-unquote, the 7th millennium of time, although it is unknown when this is in relationship to Earth's history. The implication of the final aired episode, The Hand of God, was that the original series took place after the Apollo 11 moon landing in July of 1969. As the Galactica receives a television transmission from Earth showing the landing. The later Galactica 1980 series is expressly set in the year 1980 after a 30-year voyage to Earth. Larson, a member of the Church of Jesus Day of Latter-day Saints, incorporated many themes from Mormon theology into his shows. The pilot to the series, budgeted at $7 million, the most expensive at the time, was released theatrically in various countries including Canada, Japan, and those in Western Europe in July of 1978, except for the United Kingdom, where it was released in April of 1979 as an edited 125-minute version. On September 17th of 1978, the full 148-minute pilot premiered on ABC to high Nielsen ratings. Two-thirds of the way through the broadcast, ABC interrupted with a special report of the signing of the Camp David Accords at the White House by Israeli Prime Minister and Egyptian President, witnessed by the U.S. President Jimmy Carter. After the ceremony, ABC resumed where the broadcast was at the point where it was interrupted. This interruption did not occur on the West Coast. After the pilot aired, the 125-minute theatrical version was given a U.S. cinema release in spring of 1979. The pilot had originally been announced as the first of 3 made-for-TV movies. After the broadcast of the second episode, Lost Planet of the Gods, Glen Larson announced a format change to a weekly series, catching his writing and production staff off guard, resulting in several substandard crash-of-the-week episodes until quality scripts could resume. Lost Planet of the Gods also introduced a costume change from the original, in that the warrior's dress uniform featured a gold-trimmed cape falling to the upper thigh. Because of the costume change, a portion of the pilot was reshot. This refilmed version was re-released in cinemas in 1979. The original version of the warrior's dress uniform, a plain mid-thigh length cape, is documented in the official Battlestar Galactica scrapbook by James Nealon from 1978. Battlestar Galactica was criticized heavily by the Soviet media. They saw a relationship between the fictional colonial Cylon negotiations and the U.S.-Soviet SALT talks, and accused the series of being inspired by anti-Soviet hystericas. Quote, "The galactic negotiations between the people and the Cylons really resemble the U.S.-Soviet SALT talks, not in their actual form, but in perverted interpretation of the enemy of the treaty from the family of Washington Hawks. Their inspiration in pumping up of the military anti-Soviet hysteria, which in this case is disguised in modern costume of socio-scientific fantasy. Anti-Soviet symbolism dressed in the transparent tunic of science fiction." Famous science fiction writer Isaac Asimov also commented about Battlestar Galactica, saying, quote-unquote, "Star Wars was fun and I enjoyed it, but Battlestar Galactica was Star Wars all over again and I couldn't enjoy it without amnesia." Harsh. The Soviets and Isaac Asimov were not the only critics of Battlestar Galactica. However, the biggest critic of Battlestar Galactica must have been that of 20th Century Fox. In 1978, 20th Century Fox sued Universal Studios, the producers of Battlestar Galactica, for plagiarism, copyright infringement, unfair competition, and the Lanham Act claims, claiming it had stolen 34 distinct ideas from Star Wars. Universal promptly countersued, claiming Star Wars had stolen ideas from their 1972 film, Silent Running, notably the robot drones and the Buck Rogers serials of the 1930s. 20th Century Fox's copyright claims were initially dismissed by the trial courts in 1980, and the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit remanded the case for trial in 1983. It was later, quote-unquote, resolved without trial.